What's up guys, Jeremy here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how I analyze deals and what I do when I try to decide whether or not if I'm gonna take on a property to flip. And I'm gonna show you guys how I do it step by step. And as an added plus, I'm going to use one of my current deals as an example to show you. This deal is the house that I'm talking about in this video. If you haven't seen this video yet, I'll put a link to that video in the description below. In that video, it's just me walking through the house during day one when my GC is demolishing everything and it's just a complete mess. And it's actually pretty cool to see how that house was in the beginning when we started the demo. If you're new to this channel and this is your first time watching one of my videos, what's up? My name is Jeremy Mateo. I'm a real estate broker and investor here in Hawaii. I make real estate videos and I document my entire real estate investing journey and I put it here on YouTube. All right, number one, the very first step into all of this is that you need to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. You know I had to slip that in there, but for real, if this is your first time here, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel grow. While you're at it, go ahead and follow me on all my other social media platforms as well. All right, thank you very much. Now for real this time, let's get started with this video. All right, so when it comes to real estate investing, specifically flipping homes and analyzing deals, you need to know all the information you can get about the home that you might potentially buy. So number one, the very first step is to find all the property details. Usually how this process starts is, maybe someone sends me a house or they send me a lead, they text it to me or they send it to me on social media and they say, hey, this seller is interested in selling their home. Do you think it's a deal? So first, I'll ask for the property address, and from there, I can usually find out all the rest of the property details just by looking up on MLS and going through the MLS tax records, and that's where I can find all the details about the home. So now with my current project, the way I found it is one of my realtor friends, Chris, he said one of his friends, his name is Brandon, Brandon's mom inherited a house and it's just sitting there, no one's living in it, and they wanted to sell it. So Chris went to that property and he said, wow, this is in really bad shape. We could actually flip this home. And he knew I was flipping homes, so he came to me about that property. So after I checked out the property, me, Brandon, and Chris, we all got together, made an LLC, and we bought the property from Brandon's mom. So that's how I found the deal, or technically the deal found me. I'm not gonna say the address right now because we're still working on it, but when I pulled up the address up on the MLX, the tax website, I got all the information about the house, which was, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, the square footage of the house, and also the square footage of the lot. And also the last bit of information that's very important is the neighborhood. Those are pretty much all the details you need to know about the subject property that you might buy. Our house was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. The house was 1,300 square feet and it was sitting on a lot that was about 5,000 square feet. All right, so once you have all the information about the property, now we need to start working backwards and look at the comps in the neighborhood. This is for step 2, find the ARV. So in order to find the ARV, you need to find the comps in the neighborhood. But first of all, what are comps? Comps, aka comparables, are homes in the neighborhood that are similar to the subject property that we might buy. When we say similar, we mean in terms of square footage of the house, square footage of the lot, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, and seeing what those homes sold for. And keep in mind, when you're looking at the comps in the neighborhood, you want to choose a home that is renovated and nice as your comp. That way it'll be a perfect comparison to the subject property that you might buy when you're done renovating it. Once you find a comp that is similar in size to your subject property and it's nicely renovated, boom, you have now found your ARV. So when we first looked for the comps for our subject property, we noticed that homes in the neighborhood that were similar in size sold for about $1.35 million. But when we looked at other comps, we noticed that homes that were just 700 square feet bigger sold for about $1.65 million to even $1.7 million. That's about a $300,000 to $350,000 difference. So when we got together, we're sitting around and we're just looking at this, we thought, hey, do we wanna just renovate it as is, or do we want to add 2 extra bedrooms and a bathroom for about 700 square feet? That's when we had to ask the question, okay, is it worth it to go through all of that trouble to add 700 square feet for an extra $300,000 in profit? but we'll get to that in a later step. So now you have your property, you have the details, now you have the comps, and now you have your ARV. Now what? The next step is you want to find out how much is it actually going to cost to renovate this home. In other words, step 3, you need to find your rehab cost. Now, initially, when you're crunching numbers, for the sake of getting a rough estimate and just having numbers to plug and chug into an Excel sheet calculator, which I will mention in a later step, first, you just want to eyeball, a rough estimate, judging from what you see from pictures, and just use those as rough numbers. The reason why I use that metric is because I got those numbers from my very first deal. If you guys remember the very first video I made about flipping homes, that house in Makakilo here in Hawaii was about 1,100 square feet, and it cost about $80,000 to renovate. So you take $80,000, you divide that by 1,100 square feet, you get about $72 per square foot. Then I rounded it up to $80 per square foot, just to be conservative. Now for this metric, I use this for only certain projects that aren't too crazy, but keep in mind this metric is for Hawaii's market. It could be entirely different depending on the market that you're in. So again, our house, the one I bought with Brandon and Chris, is about 1,350 square feet. So $80 times 1,350 square feet, that's about $108,000 plus $25,000 for AC in all the rooms, plus another $10,000 for appliances. That's about $143,000, and then I just rounded it up to $150,000, again, to be conservative. The reason why I'm always rounding up to be conservative is because, think about it, I'd rather think that a project costs more to renovate than it actually is, than to think it's less than what it actually really costs. So then, okay, we have $150,000 to renovate this home as is. Now remember, going back, the question that we asked was, is it worth it to add 2 extra bedrooms and 700 square feet just to sell at 1.7 million? But how much is it gonna cost to add that extra 700 square feet? None of us knew how to calculate that metric. So this is when you get your contractors to actually come to the house and get estimates, also known as bids. For us, we got 3 different contractors to give us estimates, and we went with the one that gave us a really great price. And also because I've worked with these guys before and I know they're really fast and they get the job done and they do it with great quality. With their price, plus the AC and factoring in the appliances, all of that, the estimate was about $280,000 to get this done. So if we actually went the route where we add square footage, it would be an extra $130,000. So side note, you might be thinking, okay, Jeremy, you're gonna spend an extra $130,000 to get an extra $300,000 in potential profit. So is that good? Is that a good deal? Is your true profit $170,000? Well, kinda. It's kind of not, but regardless, we think it was a good deal. And let me explain. So if you guys didn't know, I just want to remind you guys that we are using hard money lending. So essentially, they are paying for all of the rehab costs. Our interest rate on the hard money is 8.5%. So if the difference is $130,000, again, we're borrowing that extra $130,000 on 8.5% of interest. So that is about $11,050 for a year, or an extra $920 a month in interest to borrow an extra $130,000. I hope I'm not losing you. So in our mind, after doing the math, if this project takes a year or less, we would pay an extra $11,000 of interest to make an extra $300,000 in potential profit. So yes, in our mind, it was a no-brainer. So then we made the decision, we decided, yes, we will be adding 700 square feet that included 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. So now with that, we have our ARV of $1.7 million. Now we have our rehab cost, which was about $280,000. What is next? The next step for number 4 is find your max offer. This is the part where you're going to need an Excel sheet calculator to plug and chug numbers to find out what your profit and what your max offer is. This is the calculator that I mentioned earlier in this video. In this calculator, you basically plug and chug numbers to find out what your potential profit could be. There are many calculators out there. I know many people who flip houses who use their own calculator. The one that I am using, I actually got from a friend who is a big time investor. I mentioned him on my channel a couple times. His name is Alex Camacho. And essentially here is how it looks. So when we plug and chug those numbers, we have again, 1.7 ARV, 280 rehab, and if we plug and chug $850,000 as purchase price, our estimated profit is about $378,000, which is pretty dope. Now, if there was negotiation, like this was a normal type of sale between a buyer and a seller, or between you and a seller, you would play with the purchase price number. Let's say in this situation, we didn't know the seller and they were playing hardball and they're like, no, I want this property for $1.2 million. As you can see, we would be losing money in this case. So now let's say, we bought this for $1.1 million. As you can see, the profit is about $100,000. And now you have to think, okay, is $100,000 profit worth it for this big of a rehab? In my opinion, I would say no. Let's say we tell the seller, hey, let's buy it for $1 million. If we buy it for $1 million, the profit would be around $200,000, which I think that is, that's a lot better than $100,000. But again, you offered $1 million and the seller plays hardball. They're only going to say, okay, I'll do $1,050,000. $1,050,000 will get you about $160,000 profit with these calculations. Now, again, you have to think, okay, is $160K worth it for this amount of work? If you say yes, okay, awesome. Then $1,050,000 would be your max offer. If you and the seller can't agree to anything at $150,000 or below, that is when you would just walk away. And that is pretty much how I calculate deals in a nutshell. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too lengthy and it wasn't too confusing with all the math. I mean, I hate math. I really suck at math. That's why I have these calculators. But yeah, hope that made sense. Hope it wasn't too complicated. That's also pretty much a preview of my current project that I'm doing right now with Chris and Brandon. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, and hopefully that when we do put it on the market, it actually sells for 1.7 million. I don't know right now. As you guys know, interest rates are crazy. Demand isn't too hot right now. But we're gonna just keep pushing along. We're gonna keep executing and just create a really, really great product so that when we do sell, it attracts a high-end buyer who can appreciate high quality work and high quality things and pay for whatever we try to sell it for. So thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time.